Hello and welcome back to the show. This is episode number 169, and in this episode, we are going to dive back into the John Deere Operations Center mobile app, but we're going to talk more specifically to things that we can do in regards to our equipment.
Every day, there are phenomenal advancements happening in the field of agriculture technology. The team at RDO Equipment Company, along with respected, knowledgeable industry experts, are here to bring you the latest in ag tech news, information, and products that help today's growers solve challenges.
So with that, let's dive into the show. So like I said, back in episode number 168, we kind of did a real high-level overview of the John Deere Operations Center mobile, which that is our mobile app on our mobile devices, whether that be your cell phone or your tablet. If you haven't already, go back, listen to episode number 168, get the basic kind of overview of Operations Center Mobile, and then join us back on this episode where we're going to talk more specifically on equipment. So I touched on it very briefly in episode 168, but now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this just because, I felt that I breezed over it quickly in the last episode, and I felt that there was a lot of value in talking more about the capabilities, things we can see with our equipment, things we can do in regards to efficiencies and productivity and just everything in regards to equipment. So that's one of the things that is unique to the John Deere Operations Center is it's not just agronomic data. We're not just dealing with the as applied maps or our yield maps. We also have the ability to do stuff with our equipment, visualizing it, seeing, collecting data, all of that type of stuff. So diving back into the Operations Center mobile app, you down on the bottom, well, first in home, if you have any pieces of equipment that are actively moving or currently doing field work, you're going to see that on the home page. So if they're there, you'll see active equipment. You'll see how many pieces are active at that given time. And you can tree that open and you can see exactly what is active. You can see which field they're in, fuel levels, def levels, things like that. But what I want to do is, rather than going from this page, I want to go down to the map button down on the bottom. And then you'll see kind of in the bottom kind of pull-up tray, I guess you could call it, you have fields, equipment, and flags. And when we go into equipment, that's going to be, again, our list of equipment, things that are active, things that are inactive. So you'll get to see your entire list. Now, you'll see across the top, one of the other cool things is we can start to utilize filters. So maybe we want to filter this by a specific model. So maybe we're looking for one specific tractor. Or maybe we want to filter it by status. What are they doing? Is this specific machine we're looking for, are they in transport? Are they working? Or is it in idle? So you can filter that. And then what you can also do is you can filter by type. So maybe you don't want to filter the specific model of machine, but you do want to filter the type of machine. Maybe it's a tractor, sprayer, combine, things like that. The other really cool thing that we can do is you can filter, if you see the search bar and you go over to the right-hand side, right now mine says fuel level. I think it starts out, I think it's, I believe it is set up standard with last updated. But what you can do is you can filter or sort, I should say, not filter, but you can sort by fuel level, how far away that machine is from you, def level. So let's take fuel level, for example. Now I'm seeing a couple planters and other machines that don't have fuel. They're more so implements. They're going to be at the top of my list, obviously, because they have zero fuel. But if you are running a fuel trailer around to fill up your fleet, or Maybe you just want to know, where are we at with fuel level on our machines? You can sort it by fuel level, and it'll put the lowest fuel level machine on top, and it'll put the most full machine down on the bottom. Now, there again, actually looking at this now, it will filter your active machines individually from your inactive machines. So very cool way to visualize what is going on the farm, and maybe you can start to prioritize things that are going to be done, things that you're going to need to do. Now, the next thing we can do if we dive into one of those machines. So I'm going to go in, select a machine, and it's going to bring me on the map, especially if it's an active machine, it's going to bring me right to the field, right where that machine is. Now, again, if I go down on the bottom and I kind of pull up that tray, I'm going to see more information. So this is where it gets kind of cool. We can start to dive in even deeper right from our mobile device. We don't need to be at the computer. We don't need to be at the machine. We can see what's going on. Now, whether you're a very large operation with a very large fleet, or you're just a small operation, you can still see all of this information. Utilizing these machines with JDLink Connect and having everything connected on the farm is not just for a certain size farm. There are benefits to every size farm out there. Now, I bring up JDLink. We also talked about that in the Operations Center Mobile, episode 168. Make sure your machines are connected. Even if they're not newer machines, or maybe they're not John Deere machines, we have ways to get those machines connected and get them visible in your operations center. So going back to the app, so I opened up a specific machine and then I pulled that tray up. And right now it is on the window of right now. So what this is telling me is, what is this machine doing right now as it sits? So it's updating every 30 seconds or so to send this information in, and it is telling me exactly what's happening at this given moment. So it's telling me the working data over the last amount of time. It's giving me my fuel and def settings, or fuel and def levels, I should say. And then it's also telling me what the average gallon per hours are when it's working. Now, the other thing you can do is you can flip over to today. So no matter if it's in the morning, the end of the day, wherever you're at, you can see what that machine has been doing throughout the entire day. So this specific machine that I am looking at, so far it's been working for 2 hours and 5 minutes. It's got 0 minutes in transport, and it's got 6 minutes in idle. So that is what it's doing today. Now, the next thing we can look at is work. So this is a really cool feature, I think, because what you can do is you can see all of the work that has been done with this specific machine. So I'm looking at a 9520R track tractor, RT, should say, not an R, an RT, and it's showing me everything that it has done for work. So whether this is a tillage tractor, this is pulling an air seeder, pulling a fertilizer spreader, planter, whatever it may be, I am able to see what field it worked in, what day it worked on, everything like that. And then from there, I can actually open up that application and it can show me more information about that process or about that operation and exactly what it did, when it started, when it finished, the working percentage versus I suppose it's the idle time. So there's a lot of cool information right there in regards to this specific machine and all of the work that it's done. The next thing we can go to is alerts. So this is something I think is really neat, especially when you start to talk larger fleets, or even if you've got a hired hand in the machine, you're even on smaller operations, you can see exactly what those DTCs or diagnostic codes are. So if something comes up in the tractor, and maybe you don't have alerts set up. Now, you can set up these alerts within the Operations Center, so you can get, I believe, a text message or an email on these diagnostic codes, but maybe you don't have that set up. You can still see exactly what those codes are, when they happened, and it gives you a brief description of why they happened. So this one is a transmission clutch slipping. Some gears not available, return to neutral park to attempt recovery. Tells me when it happened, tells me how many times it's happened. Everything is right there at our fingertips in the Operations Center mobile app. And the last thing to touch on in this window here is setup. So when we're dealing with displays and serial numbers and JDLink connectivity and everything like that, we are able to see that information right from the app. So this specific machine that I'm looking at has the 4600 command center, which is the armrest display. It tells me which software version is on there. But then this specific tractor also has a 2630, a Greenstar 3 2630 display also plugged into the corner post. There again, we are able to see the software version that's on there, the serial number of the display. So when these things are plugged into machines, there's no more wondering, well, where is that display or what do we got going on? You're able to visualize that right from in the app. So there's a lot of different things we can do with the machine, a lot of different stuff. And in the last one, I also mentioned in the last episode, 168, we talked about remote display access. We also have that capability as well. We're able to remote display into that display, that machine, and see that. We can also get turn-by-turn directions of where or how to get to that tractor. So a lot of different things we can see. Again, this is all just from the mobile app. So what I'm going to do is in the next episode, so episode 170, so this all kind of came about when I did the last episode, episode 168 on the Operations Center mobile. It kind of started giving me some ideas to dive a little bit deeper into certain aspects of Operations Center mobile, as well as the Operations Center on our desktop. So next episode, kind of a cliffhanger here, episode number 170, what we're going to do is we're going to take a deeper dive into Machine Analyzer on the Operations Center on the web. So this one here, we talked a little bit deeper on Operations Center mobile and some of the things we can do and see in regards to our equipment right from the mobile app. Lots of useful information, continuing to help us be productive, be efficient, even something as simple as sorting the machines by fuel level to make sure, hey, that one's just about out. We got to get to tractor 1 before we move over to tractor 3. So a lot of good information. And again, it's all on a mobile device, right at our fingertips. We've all got, well, most of us, I shouldn't say all, but majority of us are all carrying smartphones. We have the ability to download the Operations Center mobile app. A reminder to everybody that is Apple, Android, go into your Google Play Store or Apple App Store, download John Deere Operations Center mobile, log in with your Operations Center credentials, same as what you would do on the computer, get it up and running. There is no cost. The Operations Center, as well as the app, Operations Center Mobile, is completely cost-free, as well as JDLink. JDLink making sure your machines are connected. Now, I had mentioned in this episode, about connecting non-Deere and or older John Deere machines. We have the ability to do that. We can get you a universal JDLink kit. We also have connections with companies like Razor Tracking. So maybe you've heard about Razor Tracking. Maybe you've got some ability to connect there. We can get kind of like over the road. So maybe your semis, grain semis or fertilizer tenders or things like that with Razor Tracking. We can get those into the Operations Center. There's also some connections out there with some other competitive manufacturers. So I believe Kloss. I think there's some other competitive telematics systems that we can get connected with the Operations Center and getting that data, that machine data, into the Operations Center. And now, taking a step back, we talk about machine data. With some of the competitive machines and some of the older John Deere machines, if we use just a universal connection, we're not going to see some of the machine data. So like diagnostic codes, fuel level, things like that. We will be able to see where they're at. We'll be able to see some of that information, but the data that comes out is not going to be as granular as it would be with a JDLink embedded system in a Gen 4 John Deere machine, so a later model machine, thinking like 2014 and newer, with some updated technology on it. So lots of different levels there, a lot of different ways to visualize the machines. But again, download Operations Center Mobile, get signed in, start utilizing it. Make sure your machines are JDLink connected and you have all of that information coming in. So again, a lot of useful information. Hopefully you guys like this and hold on for episode 170, where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Operations Center on the web and talk a little bit about some of the equipment stuff and machine information on there. So thanks again for listening.